Hello friends. Now let's start with the listening module. We will be starting with task 1 of listening, but before I start with that, I will share something important with you. The listening section is divided in two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 has only one task which you are seeing on your screen, which is called summarize spoken text. And part 2 has all remaining 7 tasks from task 2 to task 8. For part 1 of listening, which is summarize spoken text, you can have either minimum 1 question or maximum 2 questions. Please remember, each question has its own separate independent timer of 10 minutes. That means you must utilize the full time of 10 minutes for this task. Now, what happens is you will be listening to a lecture, which could be an audio or a video. Generally, it's an audio lecture of roughly 1 to 2 minutes, maximum 2 minutes. After the audio ends, you are supposed to type a summary in a box on your screen. That is why it's called summarize spoken text. Before the audio starts, you get 10 seconds. In those 10 seconds, you can quickly check if your pen is working or not. You get a sketch pen to take notes in the real exam, which is more like a marker pen. So don't keep the lid open at all times. Open it only when you need it and shut it when you don't need it. After the reading section, this will be the first task. If you get one question, the total time you will be utilizing will be 10 minutes because you must utilize the full time and click next only 5 seconds before your time is going to be up. If you get 2 questions, that will be 10 plus 10, total 20 minutes. If you finish this task early, there is no point doing next early because the remaining time will not be added to the overall timer of part 2 of listening. That's why if you finish it early, just relax, sit and check your answer for spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes and typing errors. Now, this task is a bit important because it's integrated. First, you will listen to the lecture and then you have to type the summary. So you get marks for listening and writing both. Per question, the contribution this task makes to listening and writing scores is roughly somewhere between 3 to 5 points to listening and writing both per question. So if you get 2 questions, which can happen as per the PTE guideline, you'll be getting anywhere between 6 to 10 marks contributed to listening and writing both out of 90 points, right? Now, for the listening score, the main thing which matters in your answer is content. Content means keywords which make sense. And for the writing score, what matters is not making even a single mistake. So basically for writing, you will get marks awarded for spelling, grammar, vocabulary. These are the main things. And there is also a thing called form. Form means the number of words which you write in your answer. Now, as I said, while the audio is playing, you are supposed to take down notes. There are 2 ways to take notes. One is you may take notes on your sheet, and the second is you may take notes by actually typing quickly in the box which is given on your screen, and later using those notes which you have typed, you can frame an answer. So these are the 2 main ways of taking notes. Now, as I said, for listening, the main thing which matters is your content. For content, you need to note down keywords. You can note down full phrases as well, but that is something I don't generally recommend. So it is better that you take notes. Now, as I said, there is a thing called form. Form mainly means the word limit of your answer. As per the PTE score guide, your answer should be anywhere between 50 to maximum 70 words. So the minimum word count should be 50 words and the maximum word count can be 70 words. On your screen, there will be a counter which will show you how many words you have typed. My suggestion is whenever you practice this task, put a timer of 8 minutes to finish everything. In the last 2 minutes, just check your answers for mistakes. Mind you, the overall time of 10 minutes per question also includes the time of the audio. So if the audio is, let's say, 2 minutes in duration, you will get approximately 8 minutes to write and check your answer. That's why whenever you practice this task, put a timer of 6 minutes maximum in which you need to finish your answer. Many times I have seen that people try to edit their answer till the last moment. That is not a very smart thing to do, because while you're editing your answer, and if the time is over, whichever answer is on your screen as the final answer will be submitted. And if it has mistakes, obviously your score will go down. That is why it's okay to have an answer which is not that full of content, but it is not okay to make silly mistakes or submit incomplete answers. I hope that makes sense. Now, as I said, if you want a good score in speaking, you need good content. Now, content means keywords which make sense. Now, what I mean by keywords is mainly nouns, adjective plus noun combinations, or phrases which make sense. Don't choose generic keywords. I'll write it over here. Don't choose generic keywords for content. What I mean by generic keywords is very simple words like people, time, these are very common words. They don't make much sense on their own, and you will not get good points for content. So what you need to note is words which are repetitive or words which can be really important for your content score. Now, please remember, and this is a very important thing, so I'm putting a star. If you're not sure about the spelling of a word, then don't write it. That's the basic rule. Because if the spelling is wrong, you lose points for writing for sure, and you will also lose points for listening content, because that incorrect spelling content word might not be in the actual database of the software, the PT software. So if you're not sure, try not to write that word. Now, how to choose which keywords are important? So the first thing is you have to choose repetitive words. Okay, words which are repeated again and again. Like, let's say Martin Luther King Jr. It's repeated so many times, so you have to write it, Martin Luther King Jr. But let's say you are not sure whether you write junior like this or junior like this. I would just say write Martin Luther King. That's it. Okay, that's the first thing. Also, words like Mr., try to write the whole thing, M-I-S-T-E-R, if possible. That's what I recommend. You can write years in years. For example, 1925, you can write as it is. Also, if you write a word like number like 66, you can write like this, or you can write like this. Okay. Now, as far as the spelling system is concerned, either write in British English throughout your answer and for all the questions of any particular task, or you write American English. I myself write American English, but the PT software accepts both spelling conventions, British as well as American. Just stick to any one if possible. All right. Now, one thing which I already said is try to choose repetitive keywords. Very important. Next, try to choose words which come after words like would, could, should, must, will, because generally whatever comes after these words will be something like an instruction. Right? So those can be sometimes important keywords. What you should not write as keywords are verbs. For example, eating, sleeping. I mean, you can, but there should be some context, because without context, the software will not give you enough points for content, and content means your listening score. And never write verbs in V1. V1 means the base form or the first form of the verb. For example, eat, sleep, drink. Never write these as your keywords. Never. If at all, you can add the ing form and make it continuous. For example, let's say you want to write, this lecture was about dash. Let's say it's about sleeping disorders or sleep disorders. So you cannot write this lecture was about sleep. That's wrong. You can still write this lecture was about sleeping, full stop. So ing form is slightly better when you are fitting verbs. Now, try to note down as many keywords as possible. If you're taking notes on a sheet, always take notes vertically. Vertically means top down on your sheet. Keep your handwriting as neat and clean as possible so that you're able to understand your handwriting when you read it, Or as I said, you can just type whichever words or sentences, if your typing speed is good, write in the box which is in front of you. And later on, using those keywords or sentences, you can just frame your answer in such a way that your answer is anywhere between 50 to 70 words. Okay. If your answer is even one word less than 50 or one word more than 70, you will lose a lot of points for content, which I don't want to happen. So make sure your answer is well within the word limit, which is prescribed by PTE. Otherwise, there will be a penalty. Okay. Now, once you have enough keywords, phrases, sentences ready, then you're supposed to write your answer. What I suggest is using a template or a structure. That means a fixed answer with some blanks in which you will be fitting some keywords. So I'll be showing two slightly different templates. One if you're targeting a score of band 6 approximately or 6.5, and the other one if you're targeting a higher score, let's say a band 7, 8 or 9. There is a very minor difference in both these templates, so you don't need to worry much about it. But before that, I want to talk about the concept of nouns. What is a noun? A noun could be a name, a place, a person or a thing. That's called a noun. Nouns can be classified as singular nouns and plural nouns. That is one classification. And nouns can also be classified as countable nouns or uncountable nouns. Okay. Now singular, you all know what is a singular noun. A singular means one person. For example, cat. And plural of cat obviously will be cats. Countable nouns, excuse me, means nouns which you can count. For example, again, cats, you can count, right? 5 cats, 10 cats, you can count. Uncountable nouns mean you cannot count. For example, words like globalization, with a Z is American English, just for information, and with S is British. You can use either of these two. Words like milk, air, water, you cannot count. So if you're going to use countable nouns as keywords, if you hear, let's say, the word cat in the audio, it is better to make every singular countable noun plural. So make it on your own. I will show you the template shortly. That template is a fixed template in which you just need to fit a few words. But before you fit countable nouns, you have to make it plural. The reason is, if you make that countable noun plural, you don't need to add articles before the noun. So you don't need to add a and the, anything. You just make it plural. It is absolutely fine whether in the audio it is singular or plural, doesn't matter. But if you make it plural, that's good. The second rule is, if there is an uncountable noun, you must keep it as it is. So if the word is globalization, which you want to fit, you just should write globalization. You don't add articles like a and the before uncountable nouns. The reason I'm sharing these rules is you simply have to follow these rules. You don't have to use your brain whether you need to add articles or anything of that sort. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now, let's say the audio is about a type of a cat called the Australian cat or the Australian burrow cat. So if you want to fit that, what you need to fit is Australian. Now let's say you're not sure about the spelling of burrow, whether it's B-U-R-R-O-W, B-U-R-R-O-U-G-H, you don't know. So what you'll write is, just write Australian cats. So you make the word cat plural. I hope it's clear now. Okay? And if it's an actual name, then you'll write something like this, you know. If you really know the spelling, for example, then you write like this. But otherwise, you just simply write Australian cats. This makes better sense as a keyword than cats. So what is Australian? Australian is an adjective. So if it is there in the audio, you also keep it. And what is cat? Cat is the plural form of the word cat, and that is countable. So as I said, you need to make it plural and just fit it as a keyword in the template. What you should never put in the template is only adjectives. What are adjectives? Adjectives are words which describe nouns. For example, smart student, funny boy, clever girl, intelligent teacher. I can give many more examples, you know. Economic activity, different lifestyles, various people. All these words are adjectives. So let's say the audio is about smart students in Japan. So if I write, the speaker was talking about smart students in Japan, this is a perfectly valid sentence which will give me good points for content. But if I write, the speaker was talking about smart in Japan, this is totally wrong. I will get a very poor score in writing because grammatically it's totally wrong. And as I said, if you want full marks in writing, the only thing which the software cares about, do you remember what I said? Writing full score, the software mainly cares about 0 mistakes. Means not making mistakes is your main aim, your main goal. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Also, if you're not sure about in Japan, you still write, the speaker was talking about smart students. All right, so that is you fitting keywords in content or in my template. Now, without further ado, let me share the template because I've given a lot of explanation of how to choose keywords. So this is how the template should be. The speaker was talking about, wherever there's a blank, you'll be fitting keywords. Okay, put a full stop. After every full stop, you have to leave one space. So you press the space bar once and you start. Moreover, comma, space, this. So after the comma, when you leave a space, the next word after comma should be a small t for the word this. And remember, you don't have to press enter even a single time in this task, okay? You just have to leave space after every full stop. Moreover, this lecture also sheds light on full stop, the second keyword. The third sentence, the importance of dash was mentioned, comma, space, and the concept of dash was highlighted. Full stop, continue. It was evident from the lecture that the notion of dash was instrumental. In conclusion, dash explained the significance of dash. Now this template is generally enough for band 6 to 6.5. Now let's say your target score is band 7, 8 or 9. So what I will ask you to change is a very simple thing. In the last line, and by the way, after the word conclusion, you must put a comma. What you will change is, here you fit any one phrase, and that should be a meaningful phrase. Also, it should be grammatically correct, which you will be fitting over here. For example, in the audio, let's say there is a sentence, Rome was not built in a day. So that's what you will fit over here. I hope this is a bit clear at the moment. Now, the reason I'm suggesting this template is a couple of reasons. First, it already has very good connectors. It also has academic vocabulary. For example, words like was mentioned, was highlighted. You can see everything is mostly in the past tense, except the word sheds. So keep it as it is. Don't write SHED, just keep it sheds, okay? Also, it has academic words like the words notion, concept. Also, instead of the word explain, you can also write the word elaborated. That is also a good word. So either you write the word explain, but because we have already used the word before, you can use a different word, right? Or you can also write the word delineated, delineated. So write any one word. Don't ever use a slash in your answers, ever. Just write any one of these three words, okay? I'm making it very clear. Now let's say you have some words. For example, Italy, Rome, Venice, construction workers, building costs, sleep patterns of laborers, ideal productivity, economic recession. And let's say you have written 2 full sentences from the audio also. For example, building costs escalated quickly in the 19th century. So you can write that. And let's say you have another sentence. Sleep patterns of laborers varied a lot. Let's say you've written somewhere from the audio these 2 sentences also. Now let's fit these words over here. Now these are just names of places in the audio. But let's say you actually know that this audio is about construction workers in Rome. So what you write over here is about, either you just write construction workers, but if you know context, that's even better. So what you write over here is about construction workers in Rome, full stop. Let's say the next word which you want to write over here is building costs. So over here you write building costs. Same thing I write over here. The importance of dash was mentioned. Now let's say you have written the word sleep, but you are not sure about the spelling of the word pattern. It can happen. If your vocabulary or your spelling is not that great, it can happen. So after of, what did I say earlier? If you're going to fit just one verb, you put the verb and then add ing. So you cannot write sleep. That's wrong. You have to write of sleeping was mentioned. And here, if you know what exactly it is, you write sleep patterns. You don't write pattern, because pattern is a countable noun, so you have to make it S. Whatever you fit over here, don't put a comma and write multiple things. Don't do that. Sleeping patterns, comma, laborers, comma, India, comma, China. Don't do that. And always, as I've written was, you keep it was, because this word was is for the word importance. Here also, whether it is singular or plural after concept, it doesn't matter. It will always remain was because of the word concept. Here it is was because of the word importance. Okay? Similarly, here notion was instrumental. Because of the word notion, it is was. So let's say here we write something else. So here we write of ideal productivity. Or let's say if you don't know the spelling of ideal, you write over here productivity, and here you write ideal productivity. Now it was evident from the lecture. Now instead of the word lecture, you can also use the word oration, or you can use the word discourse. Discourse or the word oration you can use. So I'll write both these words over here so that you can also use them in your exam. Okay, that the notion of dash, so here you write economic recession, or let's say the word is economic activity, you have written that word. Okay, for example, so instead of activity, what should you write over here? You write activities. And the same thing you write over here, economic. You cannot write the word just the word economic, it makes no sense, but economic activities makes better sense. In conclusion, here you write two more words. For example, over here, let's say you can write, in conclusion, laborers explained, elaborated or delineated the significance of construction, or construction in Italy, or construction in Rome. And here what you will write is, in conclusion, this full phrase you can write, building costs escalated quickly in the 19th century, full stop. Don't forget the full stop at the end. Even the above answer is a pretty good answer for a band 7 score, but the answer below is excellent in terms of vocabulary, grammar, form, sentence structure, keywords, everything. So these are the main things which we need to understand when we deal with summarize spoken text. Practice it enough number of times, always put a timer and check your answers. Thank you very much.